I refuse to wait until October to feel spooky, so here we are, happy halfway to Halloween. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a very low effort, low pressure reading vlog in celebration to having just 6 more months in between right now and the best time of the year, fall and Halloween. I have a movie picked out, so this vlog is just my way of not trying to do anything too aesthetic, anything too much, this is just kind of my diary, my life, bringing you into my internal world that's very spooky for the most part, and just taking you along for the ride in between all of the very serious adulting we all have to do in our day-to-day lives. Before we get this Halloween party started, we do need to head on over to my fiction shelves to figure out what the heck am I reading for the next 2 weeks. We are standing in front of my fiction shelves where I store about, I think, less than 60. I counted recently. About like 57 or 56 books. Hello, little ghosty. So right here we have Alice in Wonderland. So I've read that, partially read that. It's nonfiction. I read this, and I think I actually want to read the sequel in the next few weeks that I've been putting off for a really long time, and we'll see it down below. Not read, but I think, okay, this screams Halloween. A traveling Halloween store that only pops up during the fall months, very much like giving Spirit Halloween, comes to a town, and then these two women, one of the women works for the Halloween store, and then one of the women is in the town. They strike up a relationship, and then obviously things become an issue when one of the women has to leave when the store leaves. So this one definitely is screaming fall, and Halloween specifically, but I think it's screaming it so loudly that I want to wait and save it for the actual fall months. I've read this one, and then I have not read this nonfiction book right here. I think the second shelf is really where we are going to find some winners. So starting off here on the left side, this is like a coffee table book. This is a magazine. This is more like a workbook. We have not read this. I've read that. Not read this. I have not read this book right here. I have not read Trick or Treat by Lisa Morton. Sorry, little candy corn. I gotta move you over here for the time being. So I think this one might actually be a book that I will be reading. So we're gonna put this one to the side because my husband gifted this to me for Halloween in my little boo basket to start off spooky season. And I never got to it because, the pressures of fall and Halloween, you wanna read all the books, and nonfiction takes some time. So we're gonna put this one to the side. I think this could be, I have a really good plan for how I could get through this book between now and October 31st. I've read this one. I have not read this one. And I think this is one of the books I want to read as well. And yeah, I think I've been putting this one off for a really long time. I recently read the other book by Laurel Hightower right here, and I was absolutely obsessed with this, minus the ending, but we'll forgive it because if you love the movie The Descent, you have to read this book. Like, you should have read this book yesterday, honestly. But I love this so much, and I've loved her other things, that this, I already know, is going to be giving me like the big scares. So we're going to put this one to the side. Love it. This row is already giving us so many contenders. So I've read this nonfiction book. I've read this. I read that. This is like a little workbook. Have not read. Then I've read all of these 3 books here. Crummy. Okay, we're just going to have to move you over here, dude. So this is a nonfiction that I've read. Nonfiction not read. Nonfiction that I have read. Nonfiction not read. One of my favorite 5-star books, basically my personality, not read, nonfiction, Nightmare Man, not read, read. This is the book I was talking about. I've read this book and I want to read it again and then annotate it. But this was the sequel to Crazy Spooky Love that I've wanted to, again, get to for quite some time. This vlog is actually kind of my way to finally find a reason to read books that I've wanted to read for several years, months. It's pretty obvious by the end of my bookshelf tour that this is kind of where I showcase my little woobles. I love them so much. I'm actually working on a little piggy one right now for spring, and this will be its new little home once I finished him. I don't think I've ever shared my spooky bookshelves in their entirety with you. Not once. That's so funny. So you got a little glimpse into the things I've read and loved, because if I love them, I probably have purchased them. And I really hope these are books that I read and love. I really need a 5-star. Like, I've been struggling. My spring TBR has done me dirty. I've gone through them so quickly, not because they were 5 stars, but because I DNF'd quite a bit of them. And so I think this is the perfect moment to go off of my typical routine, which is to read based off the seasons of like summer, spring, that kind of thing, and do something a little different, hoping that getting to books that don't have a specific season associated with them, I'll find something that I love. And all these books have a lot going for them here, and they're all so different in their own ways. For example, Trick or Treat is nonfiction, a history of Halloween. Then we have a cozy mystery bit of romance in here. And to round this whole TBR out quite beautifully here is something that is very scary, pure horror, and when I'm really in that mood in the next 2 weeks, because I think I'm going to be bopping in between these 3 books depending on how I'm feeling. This one will be the one I crack open when I'm ready to just like have a dose of horror in my life, in my day. I am praying that this book saves my April reading, as well as the other 2 books, because things have been rough out here. Struggle City, Population 1. My plan for Trick or Treat is actually to read just 1 chapter a month between now and October. So it's like a fun little spooky countdown. I realized that there's actually only 6 chapters. So in this video, you will get an update on what I read for the intro or the intro in chapter 1. I'll see what I decide. And I'm just gonna start reading these books whenever I feel like them, and I'll update you when I finish them. But enough filming. I think I've met my quota for the day. I need to start packing up for my birthday trip to Los Angeles. I've gone there. I think I even like vlogged that trip on my old channel. I've gone there several times, and it's just like the most magical place to me because I just over romanticize the heck out of Los Angeles and Hollywood in specific. And we're doing really fun things. So I'm so excited because it aligns perfectly with halfway to Halloween. I just got back from 4 spooky days in Southern California, and every time I visit, I just want to live there. I know the traffic sucks in LA, like there's no question about that. However, I live in Northern California, and the entertainment options in LA are just like unquestionably, unarguably superior to where I live. The Los Angeles area has everything a spooky ghoul could ask for. It has a horror convenience store, coffee shops, several of them that are horror themed, and also a horror themed fitness studio. Like, can you even believe that horror yoga even exists? I took a class there at Killer Fitness and I had so much fun. I really wish a place that thematic, that inclusive of different body types existed where I live so I can attend there weekly. It's decorated to the max. It's playing muted horror movie clips on the big screen, and they actually have a little shop that's attached to the studio as well. It's kind of like in the front area, and I did pick up some goodies there. For the past few years, I've been taking pole fitness classes, and I'm always looking for really fun, spooky things to wear. So I picked up this little crop top here because I was absolutely in love with the pattern. Hopefully you're able to see here, but there are bats, there's a Bride of Frankenstein, there are little plastic vampire teeth. The pattern on this fabric is so me, and the fact that it was also like 50% off or something, I had to take it home with me. That shirt is for working out, and this one is just for lounging. I saw the bride doing a little yoga pose, and I thought it was so funny, but also super spooky and campy at the same time. Just look at her. She is living her best life, and I try to get the biggest size possible that they offered because I just love like just drowning in my shirts when I'm putzing around my home. And I know it's not overtly spooky, but I think it is worth a mention that I visited the Ripped Bodice for the very first time. If I'm not mistaken, the Ripped Bodice is one of the first romance-only bookstores in the United States, or maybe just the first to be the most popular or get viral online. I am sad to report that I didn't really care for their selection, what they had available for paranormal romance and monster romance books. I didn't get the impression that this store really valued or prioritized promoting new books, books that I might not know about, just very much like regurgitating the same things you would find on YouTube. Although I did struggle to find any books that really piqued my interest, I did want to support the store, and I did find 2 promising books. I took home A Heart So Haunted by Holly Nelson and Marked by Moonlight by Sophie Jordan. These books have 2 very promising premises. However, they're rated very low on Goodreads, so I figured that out after I left the bookstore. I was like, dang it, but you know what? I'm not known for loving popular well-known books. I may be surprised, they may actually work for me. The book I actually want to talk to you about is the one I finished last night, Kooky Spooky Love, which is the sequel to Crazy Spooky Love. I just ordered the third book in the series, Merry Spooky Love, and I think that tells you all you need to know about how I felt about this one. But first, a moment for my bookmark. Very Halloween, very, very spooky. I'll be sure not to give you any spoilers on this one, but the whole entire series follows Melody Bittersweet, who is this like really young 20-something who lives in the UK. She comes from a long line of bittersweet women who can talk to ghosts. Her mother and grandmother have a business where they are ghost busting, helping out the community, and she also can do the same thing. She can talk to ghosts. She, in the first book, starts to strike out into her own business, trying to become a little bit more independent and making her own way in the world. As I finished this book, I did see a lot of growth for Melody, and I love that there is this through line between these two books of that kind of personal growth, the emotional development of the main character, who I find so likable, so approachable. We have the same cast of characters in both, and the only people who really change are those that are related to the case that Melody is investigating in both of these books. In the first one, she's investigating a haunted house, and in the second one here, she's actually investigating a castle that is haunted, and she stays in that castle far longer than she does the haunted house here, like overnight, and I thought that was just so smart of the author to do because we really get immersed in this world. Honestly, I feel like this series is like such a hidden gem, one of the best books that like nobody's talking about in like the spooky romance, paranormal, cozy mystery world. Like you have to, like even if like you find anything I said remotely interesting, you should try to get your hands on this book. It's just so fun. And I want to say it's like a light, fluffy, chocolate-coated world that you're immersing yourself into, but things can get a bit dark. Like we're talking about death, and our main character doesn't always get her happily ever after. Like it's a slow burn throughout the course of several books, I'm learning, and I like that. I like that it's not this like saccharine optimism all the time, which I think you get quite a bit, especially in cozy mysteries, where everything just seems to be so happy-go-lucky, everybody's friends with everybody, and I find that to be dreadfully boring. There were several moments in this book that I read the line and I just like cackled out loud. It is my kind of humor. It might not work for all people, but it definitely worked for me. It's really starting to feel like halfway to Halloween over here, and I think this weekend is going to be the perfect opportunity just to like really dive deeply into the Halloween vibes, because work, I mean, yeah, it just interrupts the spookiness for sure. And having just like 48 hours of uninterrupted Halloween, I think is exactly what the doctor ordered. Hey ghouls, happy Friday. I couldn't be more in need of a movie night. This past week has been quite a lot for me emotionally. I won't get into it all, but needless to say, I'm looking for a distraction. I'm looking for an escape. And I always feel like horror does the trick for me. It's very visceral. And I mean, obviously like Halloween is so comforting and nostalgic for me. In anticipation of this little halfway to Halloween movie celebration, in LA during my trip, I visited the Horror Bodega, and I had in mind this evening, and I got some goodies. Funnily enough, I have been on the hunt for a flavored coffee. I typically go with Bones Coffee because their flavors, for me at least, are very like in my face. And I haven't been able to make my way out to the specialty stores that have them, that like sell their stuff, but they actually had it in like various different kind of flavors at the Horror Bodega, plus others as well. And I thought, why not try a new company? Because I mean, why not? It's there and it's pumpkin spice. My husband was like, it's April, like what are you doing with pumpkin spice? And I'm like, this is exactly what I need right now. I love what it says on the back. Legend has it, this delicious pumpkin spice flavor will haunt your cup of coffee every year. I'm really looking forward to trying this out tomorrow morning. I also didn't realize that they sold this, but I feel like at a certain point I received this in a book subscription box, and I don't know where that went. I'm pretty sure I didn't eat it. So I'm like, where did it just like disappear in my pantry somewhere? I don't know. But I thought this would be really fun to have and make for myself, because I think it's super simple. Like I'm not a big chef. Making some pasta feels like a very like easy peasy dinner to make for myself as we get closer to halfway to Halloween. You might be able to see, but this is pasta shaped like little ghosties, jack-o'-lanterns, and then also cobwebs. I was hoping that I would find something that was pumpkin flavored for me to drink. But if I'm being honest, this pumpkin pie soda does kind of sound like it's gonna be a bit nasty. I do not have high hopes for this one, but at the same time, I'm extremely curious to know what it tastes like. My last little treat from the Horror Bodega are these little bulging eyeball gummies. I knew I was gonna have candy salad, and I already purchased a few other things to add in there. I knew these would be a great addition to my candy salad because they're just so gross and perfect to like really hit home that it's like a Halloween movie night. So funny, I'm like looking at all the things I purchased for the candy salad and I've already broken into like basically all of them. I have the Twizzler cherry nibs. These are some of my faves. I love the texture. And I also have what is probably like 5 cherry flavored and shaped Haribos. These are my favorite. Like if I had to choose one candy to have for the rest of my life, it would be cherry Haribos. They're my road trip candy. I love just like breaking them apart. I'm surprised I even have 5 left over at this point since I purchased these about like a week ago. And then I got some Airhead Extremes because you need just like a little dash of something sour in there. I also found some candy corn from this past fall, and I'm a little worried. I'm like, is this gonna be like totally stale and gross? I haven't tried them yet. It's the autumn mix, so you have like the traditional candy corns, and then you have like the little pumpkins, and you have the candy corns that are also like brown as well. Okay, the flavor doesn't seem off, and the texture seems like it can be like a tinge off. You know what? I think they're fine. Does anybody know like when these actually go bad? I feel like they're essentially, I mean, they feel like wax. Best if used by February 2026. That was a few months ago. Well, I'm still standing. The last thing I wanted to show you before we get to this movie is at one of the horror coffee shops I went to, which is called Horror Vibes. They have one in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. They have these delicious Crunch Bar candies that are from a company that I just think they're doing amazing stuff. They are out there and they're just, I wish I could get my hands on their stuff more. I try to buy their stuff online, but they're sold out and I'm happy for them, but I want it, you know? And so I was really happy when I rolled up to this coffee shop that they were selling their Crunch Bars because I've had them before and they are so damn good. This is the little Halloween Crunch Bar I picked up. This is actually from Deadly Sweet Co. And so if I'm in a chocolate mood tonight, I'm definitely going to get to this. They had a decent selection of other movie and like horror references, but I was thinking, okay, this is like my halfway to Halloween celebration. I wanted to just go like very traditional Halloween. And I feel like Michael in the Halloween movie, you can't get more like classic Halloween than that. Time to go get my beverage in the freezer. I'm gonna put my little candy salad together, grab my Crunch Bar, and we have a wheel to spin to pick my movie tonight. The candy salad has been assembled. All my snacks are right here. I even busted out some of my favorite Halloween candles because honestly, Halloween as a season is just so short. You never really get to enjoy all of your favorite things, including your favorite candle scents. And as much as I am a Bath and Body Works hater, the pumpkin carving scent is just so quintessential Halloween to me. Just the smoky pumpkin, the little bit of like clove, I think. It is so my childhood. And of course, I needed my spooky little Casper blankie. Look at him, he's like a little devil. He's dressed up for Halloween. Oh, he's a little pale. The snack I'm most excited to try is this pumpkin pie soda, which I think I left in the freezer a little bit too long. There's like some ice chunks here, but it's starting to condensate. So I want to try it. I haven't tasted it yet. I'm getting a lot of cream. I'm not really getting the pumpkin. Oh my God, I don't get any pumpkin. My taste bud's broken? I don't know. Okay, that's kind of like a bummer. Nothing like really unique about it. It's just kind of like a cream soda. So that was kind of a disappointment. Okay, now on to choosing my movie of the evening. Shout out to folks on Instagram who actually gave me movie recommendations of Halloween films that you think are basically underrated or just they don't get enough love. I placed them all on a spinner wheel. So what are we watching this evening? Let's spin and let the Halloween gods tell us, bestow upon us Haunted Ween, which I literally know nothing about. And yeah, I guess I'll watch and I'll let you know how it goes. I am 30 minutes into this movie and it has me cackling because the acting is so bad and I can't figure out if it's on purpose, if it's like self-aware. This movie came out in 1991 and it's about a fraternity who starts up a haunted house again because they're really low on funds. They're about to get like kicked off campus. So they need some money. And there was this old haunted house that they used to use to raise money. But because of a crime that happened there with, I think,
maybe a serial killer. I don't know if he's like had any issues before, but now the serial killer that was a boy is now a man without his mom because she is croaked, and he's come back home. And it just so happens that this fraternity is starting up this haunted house fundraiser again during Halloween time. But I just can't get over the acting. I really can't. 46 minutes into Hauntedween, and I don't think I can do this. So back to the spinner wheel we go. I'm honestly just like bored, and I'm on my phone, and like I know what it's like to enjoy a movie, and I don't think this is it. It might be fun if you're in a mood to like watch a bad movie, but I kind of want something that is campy but has a little bit faster pacing. Like it just feels super slow, but it does have like some really fun vibes and some comedy that I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it is good for like a laugh. Here's to having some better luck. Pumpkinhead it is. Oh my gosh, nobody told me how sad Pumpkinhead is. I think this movie came out in the 80s, and it follows a man who has a really, really adorable son, like the cutest thing on planet Earth. And there's an accident that happens that there's like this vacationing group of teens, and they're just so reckless. And yeah, there's an accident that happens. So I guess he ends up summoning a pumpkin-headed spirit or demon or creature to seek revenge. I haven't gotten to that part yet, just like the accident. It's so sad. None of that is spoilers, by the way. I just didn't realize that the tone of this movie is going to be so serious, but I'm liking it a whole lot more than Hauntedween. The pacing is so much faster. The acting is so much better, like light years of difference. And I'm really finding that I'm getting attached to the older man who's like the father and the little son. Literally so sad.
That ending. Okay, so I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I feel like it's maybe like a 3.5 star. I felt like it had a lot of really good twists and turns in terms of like what was at stake. You have some characters coming in and things got a little bit more interesting. But I think I don't know, maybe it was because I was watching it on Pluto TV where there are a lot of ads. I felt like my attention, my focus was kind of waning a little bit. And granted, I feel like I've been going through some like personal things that has been taking its toll on me recently this week. So maybe like that's also something to think about as well. I know that there's sequels of Pumpkinhead, and I feel like I'd watch that because the ending especially added something very interesting to the lore of Pumpkinhead. I didn't find myself invested in any of the characters besides the dad. And I thought it was a little strange, like his story arc, like that didn't really make sense to me, or at least maybe I didn't like want that to be part of the story. So I don't know, it's maybe like a upper mid movie for me. I just love the fact that Pumpkinhead lives in a pumpkin patch that looks so spooky. Like the vibes in the first half of this movie were good. Like they were giving it to me. I just feel like the pacing, I think, was a little off, and it took a little longer than I think it needed to get to the end point. But I had fun, and I really feel like I'm in the Halloween spirit, especially my home was just smelling so amazing with pumpkin carving. And the rest of the weekend and the beginning of next week, we're getting closer and closer to halfway to Halloween, the official like April 30th, May 1st date. So between now and then, I do have some reading to get to that I'm hoping are also winners for me too, like my last book.
Trick or Treat by Lisa Morton is the first book both to examine the origins and history of Halloween and to explore in depth its current global popularity. Festivals like the Celtic Samhain and Catholic All Souls Day have blended to produce the modern Halloween, which has been reborn with new customs in America. Lisa Morton lifts the cobwebs off everything from the explosion in popularity of haunted attractions to the impact of events like the global economic recession, as well as the effect Halloween has had on popular culture through literary works, films, and television series.
Did you know that some historians have suggested that the devil may have originated as a way for Christianizing people to transform pagan horn gods into a symbol of evil? And so apparently, according to this book, that's a major reason why we have the devil as like such a huge icon of Halloween today, because people who are trying to Christianize the Celts, I never know like how to refer to them, were trying to like deter them from being as pagan as possible. So they kind of try to like Christianize their celebration. And that celebration that we now call Halloween today, their version of like Samhain, was very much like Christmas to me, where it's like celebrating the change of the season, commemorating, survival, getting ready for the darkness of winter. And there's a lot of like drinking and eating and festivities and all that. And then this first chapter also gets into the witch and how that, through the witch trials, became associated with the devil, therefore Halloween. Some really like super fascinating stuff. So I decided just to read the introduction and chapter 1, and the next month I'll get to chapter 2. Chapter 1 really walks us through what we do know about the Celts in Ireland celebrating Samhain. Then we have this transition to European Catholic Church creating All Souls Day and making this like a substitute to the pagan celebrations. We have the introduction of new traditions like death iconography, highly influenced by all of the epidemics that were happening, specifically here like in the 1300s with the Black Death, people having a very new relationship to the onslaught of so much loss and how that does influence the way people view death in a very different way. And then there's like several other holidays that this gets into that in some way reshape Halloween, getting us closer and closer down the timeline. So I have really enjoyed this book so far, although I haven't read all of it, obviously, so take my assessment of this with a grain of salt. I think my only critique of this is that I don't think it's the most readable nonfiction book I've ever read, and I've read a lot in my day, so I don't think the average person might find the writing style in here to be the most riveting and engaging. However, I do like the idea of having so much history about a holiday I love so much condensed into one book, and how she's really just trying to like counter and challenge a lot of misinformation about Halloween that I didn't even know in the first place. But it's nice to see that there are like multiple perspectives presented in this book. Also, I read The Day of the Door in one day. And it's so wild because it's the same thing that's happened to me before, where I can't stop reading a book or listening to the audiobook. And yet by the end of it, even though I've binged it and I just like want to keep turning the pages, finding out what happens, I still give the book like a 3-star or like a 3.5-star rating. Like, why does that happen? I think because maybe the writing style is so captivating and I'm like emotionally connected, but there's something with the plot. It doesn't go as far as I would want, especially with like sticking the landing. And unfortunately, that's what happened with this book. First, let me start off with the positives here. The writing style is so evocative. Laurel Hightower knows how to write a horror book, knows how to create atmosphere and tell us a lot in a few amount of words, and yet it's beautiful. It is beautiful writing without being too verbose, in my opinion. The beginning of this book, like the first half, was so good. And especially like the sleep paralysis scene, it was so gross and it had my jaw on the floor, pun intended. When I was reading that, and I had to like go back and read it, I was like, oh my God. So the book is all about a family, and it's literally all about family drama. We don't get to see what happens because it's behind a closed door, but one of the mothers commits a crime against one of her children. Fast forward to all those children being adults. They go back to that house that is allegedly haunted by, according to the mother, who's just like literally the most toxic mother I've ever heard of. And for various reasons, these adult children want to go back. They're coming in with a paranormal investigation team, and they're just really trying to facilitate in their own way resolving the relationship situation they have with their mother. It is more like supernatural psychological horror, and it does have some spooky vibes to this that make it perfect to read around Halloween. And I think this book kind of felt like the other last book I read from Laurel Hightower, The Long Low Whistle, where I was like captivated through the majority of the book, and then the ending just felt like kind of a dud. I was waiting for something to be revealed, a twist, anything. So although this book really kept me guessing and had a lot of creepy parts to it, I think about the 50% mark, my enthusiasm for the story that was unfolding really started to wane. And then by the ending, I was like, okay, well, I just kind of wanted to know. Like, I think that's what kept me so gripped. I was really curious to know, was the house haunted? Was the mother possessed? or was it something that was a little bit more, you know, a human monster kind of thing? It really had me thinking about Rachel Harrison's recent release, Play Nice. If you like that book but wanted way more horror, get this book. This is exactly the same, like family trauma, questioning your memory of your childhood, you know, toxic parents, generational issues, all of that. Grab this book. I think it's a perfect pairing and really does up the ante when it comes to horror, but doesn't go as far as I would have wanted. So although it's like a 3.5, I found it to be a good way to like get the spooky vibes going up in here. It's just not a perfect book, but I had such a blast reading it. I had so much fun reading all 3 books this past week and a half. It is so fun to just be a silly, whimsical little gal and celebrate Halloween at the tail end of April in the middle of spring. The official date of Halfway to Halloween is actually in a few days. So between now and then, my plan is to tackle the rest of the movies on my little spinner wheel. And I don't think I'm gonna get to any more books this last week of April because I really just wanna be fresh and ready to take on Escape the Readathon in May, which is a super fun, like highly recommend you join Books with Lexi and all of her crew as we just like read our way through May. I need the distraction. Like I'm ready to be with all the bookish people. Let me know what you've been up to. How have you been celebrating halfway to Halloween, or just like taking care of yourself, finding some moments to rest, create some whimsy in your life, have some fun. Feel free to drop some spooky Halloween related emojis down below in the comments to let me know you are here, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.